Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. This is again Miss Cañete, and I will be discussing the topic the family as a unit of care under the course Community Health Nursing 1. So we're going to discuss about the family as a client, right? We are going to cover these topics in this learning session. The characteristics of a healthy family. Next is the stages of family development. Next is the family health tasks, the family roles, the role of the healthcare provider, and also the behaviors of the well family. So we need to know these topics for us to be able to diagnose appropriately. What are the health needs? What are the health problems of the family? So again, we have mentioned previously that the family is considered the fundamental unit of society, the natural and fundamental unit, which we also mentioned that the breakdown of the family will result to the breakdown of the society because the family is the unit, the fundamental unit. So the family as a group generates, prevents, tolerates, and corrects health problems within its membership. The health problems of the family members are interlocking, and the family is the most frequent focus of health decisions and also the focus of health action in personal care. So the family is an effective and available channel for much of the effort of the health worker because the family is the unit of the society. All of these are bases why the family is considered the unit of care in community health nursing. To take care of a family, a community health nurse must understand the family's characteristics. Okay, first is the family is a product of time and place. So a family is different from other family who lives in another location in many ways. A family who lived in the past is also different from another family who lives at present in many ways. Okay, so the family from the Western countries would be different from the families here in tropical countries. While the families who lived like 100 years ago would definitely be different from the family at present. Like 100 years ago, that was the time when the First World War happened. Although there were also pandemic at the time. Okay. Second characteristic is that the family develops its own lifestyle, which means that the family develops its own patterns of behavior and its own style in life. They also develop their own power system, which is either balanced or strongly biased. Now, when we say balance, meaning the parents and the children have their own areas of decisions and control, while strongly biased would mean that one member gains dominance over the others. Next characteristic is that the family operates as a group. So a family is a unit in which the action of any member may set off a whole series of reactions within a group and entity whose inner strength may be its greatest single supportive factor when one of its members is stricken with illness or death. The fourth characteristic of a family is that the family accommodates the needs of the individual members. So usually an individual is unique, is a unique human being who needs to assert his or herself in a way that allows him to grow and develop. So sometimes individual needs and group needs seem to find a natural balance because of the need for self-expression, that does not overshadow consideration of others. Power is equitably distributed, and independence or interdependence is permitted to flourish. Okay? Next is that the family relates to the community. So the family develops a stance with respect to the community. The relationship between the families is wholesome and reciprocal, and the family utilizes the community resources and in turn contributes to the improvement of the community. So there are families who feel a sense of isolation from the community, and as a nurse, we have to be mindful of these families. We have to be observant and we must be able to help them, empower them, so that families who maintain proud, like we keep it to ourselves attitude, are those families who has the tendency to be isolated from the community. Families who are entirely passive, taking the benefits from the community without either contributing to it or demanding changes to it. So, yeah, these kind of families would be needing help. The family has a growth cycle as one characteristic of the family as a client. So, what does it mean? Families pass through predictable developmental stages. All of these characteristics are based on the study of Duval and Miller in 1990. Okay, to support that, Duval describes the stages of family development. Okay, so when we are caring for a family, we need to identify which level or which stage of family development are they in now, so we can anticipate their needs and also understand the family behavior and ways of coping. Okay, so the family cycle, the family life cycle, was developed by Evelyn Duval, who is a sociologist. She compiled the average ages at which people complete normal life experiences like marriage, having their first children, having teenagers, having no more children at home, and retire. Duval's developmental model is an excellent guide for assessing, analyzing, and planning around basic family tasks developmental stage. It is to be noted, though, that this model now of 12 does not include the family structure or physiological aspects, which should also be considered for a comprehensive view of the family. So that model is applicable for nuclear families with growing children and families who are experiencing health related problems. So, what are these stages? First stage is the beginning family for newlywed couples. This is when the married couple establish their home but do not yet have children. The developmental task of the family, of a beginning family, is to establish a satisfying home and marriage relationship and also to prepare for childbirth. Okay? It also involves merging of values brought into the relationship from the families of orientation. It includes adjustments to each other's routines like sleeping, eating, chores, etc. Also, sexual and economic aspects. So members work to achieve three separate identifiable tasks. Number one, to establish a mutually satisfying relationship. Number two, learn to relate well to their families of orientation. And number three, if applicable, engage in reproductive life planning. Now, the stage two is called the childbearing family, who was a child from 0 to 30 months old. So, from the birth of the first child until the child is 2.5 years old. The developmental task of the childbearing family is to adjust, to increase the family size, caring for an infant, providing a positive developmental environment, emphasizing the importance of pregnancy and immunization, and also learning the concept of parenting, syempre, pati allocation of resources, no? Birth or adoption of a first child, which requires economic and social role changes, can pose a challenge, to a childbearing family. So the oldest child again is 2.5 years. The stage three is the family with preschoolers or 3 to 6 years old children. Now, when the oldest child is between the ages of 2.5 and 6, then the family is in the stage three. The task is to satisfy the needs and interests of preschool children, coping with demands on energy and attention with less privacy at home. Okay, so those who married late, very late, no, they would have to keep up with the demands on the energy of the preschoolers during this stage. Also, the family has to learn the concept of responsible parenthood at this time, division of labor. This is also a busy family because children at this stage demand a great deal of time related to growth and development needs and safety considerations lalo na. Kaya nga, especially with toys, no, for these kids, usually there is a note to be cautious. No, caution small parts for these toys. Okay. Stage four is the family with school children. When the oldest child is between the ages of 6 and 13. And the developmental task of this family is to promote educational achievement and fitting in with the community of families with school-age children. Because the schoolers wants to develop confidence within the community. So the family also has to support that sense of confidence among school-age children. We reinforce, as nurses, we reinforce the concept of responsible parenthood, spacing the childbirth, only deciding and carefully planning the financial resources, to support the needs of the children. So, yun nga sinabi na kung hindi rin lang kayang buhayin, huwag nang magbuntis ng magbuntis. Magplano ng pamilya, to space the pregnancies properly. Okay, so parents at this stage have important responsibility of preparing their children to be able to function in a complex world, while at the same time maintaining their own satisfying marriage relationship. Okay? The stage 5 is the family with teenagers, when the oldest child is between the ages of 13 and 20. And the developmental task of this family is to allow and help children to become more independent, to cope with their independence, and to cope with or to develop their new interests beyond childcare. So parents at this time learn the concept of let go system and understand the generation gap. So reproduction, recruitment, and release of members are part of the task of this family. So a family allows the adolescents more freedom and prepare them for their own life as technology advances. So also there is a gap between generations that has the tendency to increase at this time. Okay. The stage 6 is the launching center. From the time the oldest child leaves the family for independent adult life till the time the last child leaves. And the developmental task for this family is to release young adults and accept new ways of relating to them. Kasi may mga asawa na. Ha? Maintain a supportive home base, adapt to new living circumstances, accept the new member of the family, maintain the order. It is the stage when children also leave to set their own household, and the parents have to accept that reality, although it appears to be to represent the breaking of the family. That's why it is called the empty nest. The empty nest. I remember when I was young, there was a TV show called The Empty Nest. Okay. Stage 7 is the family of middle years. From the time the children are gone till the marital couple retires from employment. So the developmental task of this family is to renew and redefine the marriage relationship. Also to maintain ties with children and their families. Also to prepare for retirement years. Provide a healthy environment, adjust with a new lifestyle, and adjust with the financial aspect. Also, placement of members in larger community. Okay? The family that returns to two partners nuclear unit is inevitable at this stage. So, kayong dalawa na lang ng asawa mo. Okay? Stage 8 is the period from emptiness to retirement, or the aging family, from retirement till the death of the surviving marriage partner. So the developmental task of this stage or this family at this stage is to adjust to retirement, to cope with the death of the marriage partner, and to face life alone. Learn the concept of death positively and maintain the motivation and morale of the family despite the loss. So if more children come into a home, the process repeats itself. Thus, a family can be in several overlapping stages. And this requires that the family learns many different developmental tasks and adjustments at the same time. In a family, each person is trying to make it through a specific individual stage, while the family is, as a unit, also going through various stages in the family life cycle. Now, that information by Duval reviews a family life cycle. Okay? But in order to better understand individual growth and development, it would be helpful to review Erik Erikson's stages of personality development. Because remember that parents are in one stage and their children are in certain other stages depending upon their age. All right? Also, according to Maglaya, the family has 5 family health tasks. And failure or limitation of the family to perform these health tasks results to problem identification or to results to health problems. The first task of the family, according to Maglaya, Araceli Maglaya, is to recognize interruptions of health development. Number two, to make decisions with respect to seeking healthcare and taking appropriate health action. Number three, to provide care to all members of the family. Number four, to maintain a home environment conducive to health maintenance. And then number five is to utilize community resources for healthcare. Later on, as you do your family health nursing process, you will need to identify health problems based on the family's performance of these health tasks. Next is the family roles. So, as a unit of care, the family fulfills these roles to each member. The family is a nurturing figure where a primary caregiver to children or any dependent member is doing it. Provider, the family provides the family's basic needs. Decision maker, the family makes decisions, particular in areas such as finance, resolution of conflicts, use of leisure time, and sometimes even the materials to be read. Yeah. Next is the family is a problem solver. So it resolves family problems to maintain unity and solidarity. Next, the family is a health manager that monitors the health and ensures that members return to health appointments. Okay? And another role is the family is a gatekeeper, which determines what information will be released from the family or what new information can be introduced, especially if the family values its privacy very much. Okay? Now, the roles of the healthcare provider in family health, no, or in family health care includes health monitor, provider of care, coordinator, facilitator, and teacher. And of course, it's not going to be easy to do all of these. So the nurse must find an age-appropriate approach, in caring for each member of the family. Okay. Now, to understand further the family and to appropriately diagnose the problems, we have here the 12 behaviors indicating a well family. Okay, number one, the family must be able to provide for physical, emotional, and spiritual needs of family members. So, kanino ba kayo tumatakbo kapag may problema kayo? Is it with family or with friends? Okay, so the answer to that, you know already. Number two, able to be sensitive to the needs of the family members. So take note, in a family, there are different members of different ages, different personalities. So sensitivity to the needs of each other is very important. Able to communicate thought and feelings effectively. Okay, for cohesion. Just imagine if the members cannot understand each other, so nako, away lagi yun. Okay? Also, number four, able to provide support, security, and encouragement. Able to initiate and maintain growth-producing relationship. Maintain and create constructive and responsible community relationships. Able to grow with and through children, an ability to perform family roles flexibly. Also able to help oneself and to accept help when appropriate. Demonstrate mutual respect for the individuality of family members, and the ability to use a crisis experience as a means of growth. And number 12, demonstrate concern of family unity, loyalty, and interfamily. So again, a family is forever, and the nurse caring for a family must understand the different characteristics, the stages of family development, the family health tasks that the family needs to fulfill. Otherwise, there will be health problems, there will be consequences, and we hope that the consequence is not that much. Also, there are family roles to be fulfilled with the nurses knowing very well their roles as care provider and, of course, the 12 behaviors of a well family. Okay, thank you very much for joining me in this learning session.